Okay, 10.2 is about multiplying polynomials. Again, we're going to do some of this referring to some methods you have learned before we talked about the polynomials. If you'd like to pause quickly and read through this page, you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next screen so that you can see it in action. So first of all, we're going to use the distributive property. Now to use that, using two polynomials, we will first of all know that I can take apart one polynomial into two different terms. So I could do x times x minus 3 using this first term, and then the operational symbol, and I would then use the next term plus 2 times that same quantity x minus 3. So all I did was take apart the first polynomial and make it into two separate distributive terms. So now I can go ahead and I can distribute that. I would get x squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 6. Now my last step then would be to combine any like terms and make sure that I have them in degree order. So I only had an x squared, a negative 3x, and a positive 2x is going to give me a negative 1x, or x, and I only had one constant term, negative 6. So we're going to find the product. That would be the answer for the product in the simplest form. Now, this is the method that's used most often. If you ask your parents, they'll tell you they remember the FOIL method. Again, if you'd like to freeze this and look at this page, let me see, did I recopy it? I did. So if you'd like to freeze this one and look at it, I'm going to go ahead and do an action, and maybe you'll want to come back to it and look at the color coding and see if that makes more sense. So the FOIL method means first terms, then we have outside terms. We also have inside terms. And then we have our last terms. So the first and last are pretty self-explanatory. It means the first terms from each of the polynomials, or in this case, binomials. So first I'm going to multiply my 3x. I'm going to write this out. This is not a step you would have to do. You could mentally do that. So 3x multiplied by the 2x. Now I'm going to go to my outside terms. The 3x is on the outside of this binomial, and the 1 is also on the outside. So I'm going to do a positive 3x, and I'm writing this out, but you would not have to do that. Okay? But we also have, and I'm saying in my green, some inside terms. So my inside terms is my negative 4 and my 2x. They're inside this entire multiplication sentence. So I would do minus 4 times 2x as my inside term. And then finally I get to my last term. Negative 4 is my last term here in this first binomial, and positive 1 is in my second binomial. Now I need to multiply out and also to simplify. So 3x times 2x is going to give me my 6x squared. 3x times 1 is going to give me a positive 3x. Negative 4 times 2x is going to give me a negative 8x. And then negative 4 times 1 gives me negative 4. You're going to notice that those terms I put in green are going to be the terms that need to be simplified. Usually you can go right from this step to this step. I'm fine with that. And then you'll always remember you'll have 4 terms there because FOIL has 4 letters in it, but you'll need to simplify them into the 3. So we're going to have 6x squared, and doing it in this order also will put you in the degree order. 3x minus 8x would give me a negative 5x minus 4. And that would be my, oh, I don't know what happened there. How that switched on me. That would be the final answer there. 6x squared minus 5x minus 4. All right. This time we're going to multiply vertically. This is one that I don't recommend. It is the way that you first learn how to multiply. So I do see the maybe the safety of that, but I think with all these terms it makes it a little bit harder. The first thing we're going to do is look for the longest term, and that's the trinomial there, and that one's going to go on top, the same as when you're multiplying these, or when you first learn multiplication. I caution you though, put a little star here, let's put those into degree order. So we want negative x squared to be first, then we want a positive 3x and a positive 5. Now I can multiply that by my binomial x minus 2. Now going back to how you learned multiplication, you went from the ones place, multiplied the 1 by each one of the terms, and then you went to the tens place and multiplied the 10 by each one of the terms in the longer one. That's what we're going to do here. So we're going to start with our 2, and we're going to go negative 2 times a positive 5 is going to give me a negative 10. Negative 2 times a positive 3x is going to give me a negative 6x. And a negative 2 times a negative x squared is going to give me a positive 2x squared. Now, let's do it in blue. I think it'll show a little bit better. Now we're going to move over to our next term, which is kind of like the term that's in the tens place. And we're going to do the same thing. When I do this, I'm going to save myself a step, and I'm going to line up like terms. So I have x times 5 first. That would be positive 5x, and I lined it up underneath my other x term. I have x times 3x, which would give me 3x squared, and that's going to be positive. And then I have x times a negative x squared, which would give me a negative x cubed. Now I can combine those, and I will have my final answer. Negative x cubed. I have a 2x squared and a 3x squared, so that would give me 5x squared. I have, oh, I forgot my operational sign here. X times 5 was a positive 5x, or my integer sign, I should say. So negative 6 combined with a positive 5 would give me a negative 1x, and then my only constant term was my negative 10. Now, if this helps you because it's similar to how you used to multiply, that is fine. But there's just a lot of terms and a lot of traffic writing. So unless you're very neat and keep your columns there, I think you could run into some trouble with this one. There is yet another one. We could multiply those polynomials horizontally, like we did in example 1, using the distributive method. What I would do, and this differs from the book, I would take my shorter term, and that's going to be the distributor. So I'm going to put that here, and I'm just going to rewrite it this way so you can see it a little clearer. Now, what we did with the first example was I went ahead and I separated these. I did 2x times 4x minus 3x plus, oh, sorry, that is a minus 1. Minus 1. And then I'm going to put my negative 5 in here, my next term. And I'm going to multiply that by the longer trinomial, each one of those terms. In this case, I would get 8x cubed, then I would get negative 6x squared, and I would get a negative 2x. My next distributing, I would get a negative 20x squared. I would get negative 5 times negative 3x would give me a positive 15x, and a negative 5 times the negative 1 would give me a positive 5. Now in doing this, you're going to have one extra step here, and you're going to have to combine terms. I'm going to go to black so you can see the difference. This is my only cube term, so I'll go ahead and I'll put that down first, biggest degree. I have a negative 6x squared, and I have a negative 20x squared. So that's going to give me a negative 26x squared. I have two x terms. I have a negative 2x and a positive 15x. That's going to give me a positive 13x. And then I only have one constant term. That's going to be a positive 5. Now, in the book, and in case you don't pull the book out, they did it, that they did their longer term and used that and multiplied that by each one of the smaller sets. So you can see that version as well. So lots of different ways to decide how you want to, which method. Again, the method most people are taught and most people use is the FOIL method. And that will come in future lessons as well when we're learning how to factor. Now the last goal is talking about using polynomials in real life. Again, this is just putting these into the formula and using what I showed you in these examples. So you have this slide and then one more. I'm going to let you go ahead and pause on this and see where they got these 4-story problems. And then we'll go ahead and we'll do the algebra one more time. And I'm going to do it with the FOIL pattern just to kind of reiterate that. So we found our two polynomials, binomials, and I'm going to do the FOIL method this time and see how well you can follow along with me. All right, first, my first terms are 3x plus 2x. So that's going to give me my 6x squared term. My next terms are the outside ones. 3x and 6 are my outside terms. So that would be positive 18x. My inside terms are my 10 and my 2x. That's going to give me a 20x. And then my last term is going to be my 10 times my 6, both positive. So that's going to give me my 60. There are my 4 terms for FOIL, has 4 letters in it. And my final step would be to combine my like terms that neatly are in the middle, and that would be my 38x plus 60. And that would be my final answer.